It's time to talk about the race. The Mines of Spain is really a fun race. Josh, the race director, puts on a great race. There's lots of swag. There's big aid stations. Yeah, it's a very well run race. I think the thing that I like the most, though, well, there's a lot of things I liked, but one of the things I really liked was that they gave you this cup, and it's just a plastic cup, and it kind of folds down, and you can just put it in your pocket and take it out whenever you wanted to drink somewhere. Yeah, there's a lot to like about this race. I just met so many people. It's a looped course, so you do, in the 100K, you do 3 20-mile loops. And a lot of the course is out and back, so you'll see other runners. We made it to Murphy Park. The place is swarming with runners, and I'm a little bit nervous that I think that will go away when I start running. I slept really good last night, so it should be a good race. Right now it's about 38 degrees outside.
A reminder, as always, no crews at the aid station, no crewing out on the course. This is so cool. 15 seconds. Alright. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! Yay, Michelle Thompson!
3 minutes to start. Pretty cool. I'm off course. I'm going to aid station 3. I never saw aid station 1. I'm supposed to be going to aid station 2. Thankfully, I have my phone works, and I looked at a map. Oops. Shoot. Oh well. This is me at the start of the race. 1 mile, 2 mile, 3 mile, 4 mile, and this is where I went off course. Here we go. Oh, I must be thinking something's not right here. I start back, and then I am back on course. I don't blame anyone but myself. I should have known the course better. I had someone tell me they saw my YouTube. Okay, now maybe I should cry. I added yet another half mile off course. Went to the wrong aid station, and they're like, "Did you punch your bib?" I'm like, no. So anyway, should I cry now? I'm fueled up. I'm just kind of walking. I'm trying not to think about the 4 extra miles because it's just going to drain me mentally. And I need all that mental strength. I didn't cry, so that's good. I still have 1.5 cries yet that I can still do. I made it. Gonna punch my bib. Apparently, I'm this aid station's favorite runner. That counts for something. I just met so many people, and I talked to as many people as were taught to me. I was running around a woman that had done a lot of European races. She used poles, and she said she just loves the climbing races in the mountains, and I think she's done races in Italy. And then I saw Gary Dudney. I passed him once, and he also ran in the Matahay 100 in North Dakota, and he has a new book out, and I kind of hollered back at him, I just bought your book and I read it.
Whatever you're
That is John Noble. He lapped me. The Zumbro shirt that I wore, the pink Zumbro shirt, if I wear it around town here, no one knows what Zumbro is, but it was almost not a mistake, but I felt like a little bit like an imposter because everyone asked me, did you run Zumbro? And well, I said, well, I tried. In 2019, I signed up, and then the race got canceled, and everyone there knows the history of Zumbro. And then there was one man that was wearing the same shirt, so I passed him quite a bit during the race, and he would say, hey, my Zumbro twin. So this is a nasty trick they put in here. The good news is I'm almost finished with my first loop. I'm in good spirits. I can't wait to see Jeff sit down for a minute and have some food and then go out again. Boom. I got my first loop done. I think it's 20 miles, but it's 25 for me. Had a grilled cheese. Jeff's here. It's so nice to see him and talk to him. And yeah, doing all the things. Horseshoe Bluffs. I had a really nasty fall. There's my hands. I'm losing daylight. It's 6 o'clock. I'm at 36 miles. So that means really I'm at 31 miles. So I'm over halfway. Yes.
No, seriously. Here you go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. This is appropriate. The racetrack is
Hit that race director right in the face. Right there. Right there. All right.
Yeah. Steps in the dark. I call this a stair stepper loop. I'm about 2 miles from the start, and I'll be done with my second loop. There's about 1.5 miles that it's kind of this little loop within the loop, and at first, you think, oh, this isn't so bad. You're running along this river. And then all of a sudden, there's just steps and more steps. And that's why I called it the Stairmaster Loop. When I was running it in the dark, I heard some people coming up behind me, some other runners. So I moved out of the way, and it was 2 younger guys. And I'm kind of plodding along and walking on these steps and trying not to trip. And these guys just came running past, and they just flew down the steps. I couldn't believe it. If I had been running, I probably would have tripped and fallen on my face. Okay, I haven't cried yet, but I kind of want to cry now because I totally lost all of my resolve. I just want to be done. So I'm gonna have a DNF. Just lost all my resolve. It was really hard to leave Murphy Park. It was really hard to get in the car. I gave myself 1.5 cries for that day, and I hadn't used any of them up, but the 1.5 cries was totally used up on the ride back to the hotel. The disappointment just came out, and I was tired and disappointed, and the day really hadn't gone how I planned, and I felt like a quitter. Why didn't I finish? I know from the video it seems really abrupt. I have a little clip where I say that I'm doing great, and then the next thing, it's dark and I lost all resolve and I'm done. I think that what happened in my mind was I had run an additional 5 miles, and I'm kind of a numbers person, and in my mind I just thought that this, with all the extra miles I put in, it wasn't a really good representation of the effort that I'd put in for the day, and I would never be able to benchmark this against any other run because it was 5 miles longer. And I tried to stay positive and put this out of my head, but I just never really could. I had hoped to run the first 2 loops mostly in daylight. I knew this was a really rocky course, and I ran this 2 hours in the dark on the second loop, and I was running really tense. My shoulders were really high, and I mean, a bump this big on the trail, you could trip over and just fall on your face. It was a little scary to me. And I just thought of, if I did that 3rd loop, it would just be this super slow loop with me very tense, and I really wanted to try my best to get the best time that I could on this course. And maybe this doesn't make sense to anyone, but it was what was in my mind at the time, and I was so conflicted. I went and talked to the race director, and he said to me, "Well, you look fine." And then I showed him my watch, and I said, "Well, I've got 5 extra miles." And I think he sort of understood a little bit then, and he told me that he had had a race like that once too. And then he's such a kind man, he found somebody that I could run a pacer. I could run with a pacer and the person he was pacing on this last loop. And so I hemmed and hawed, and I stood by the fire, and I was waiting for that woman to come in on her second loop, and I didn't shut my watch off for an hour, and I just couldn't. But I'm just wasting more and more time, and it didn't really mesh with my goal of trying to do the best that I could in this race. So kind of chickened out, and I had Jeff go tell the race director that I was out. I just felt like I was letting him down, and so that's why I have a DNF. Still today, I wonder if I did the right thing. There were a few other things going on too. I had a toe that kept bumping and on my shoe, and it was, it would get bumped on a rock or stubbed, and I would yell out, "Ow!" I fell earlier and my knee was swollen. And I know ibuprofen would have knocked it down. And I'm not talking about any of these things to use them as excuses for why I didn't quit, because I really think that I could have finished the race with all of these problems that I had going on. There wasn't anything physically that was holding me back from finishing. It was just all these ideas in my head about that I really wanted to do the best that I could in this race, and that goal was out of sight. I was never lonely during this race. I think it was the loop nature of the course. I was always seeing people and talking to people. And during the race, I got a lot of text messages and Snapchats. The best Snapchat I got was close to the end of the race, and this was from my brother and his family in Michigan. It's just a hoot. I loved it.
Careful not to trip. Come on, Becky. Keep it up. Come on, you can do it. Watch that rock.
Things I learned during this race. 1, maybe have a map of the race course in your pocket, or study the course better before you go. 2, I think I would take poles and use them in the dark at least. The terrain is very rocky, and so yeah, I definitely think I would take poles. The third thing I learned was that I really like race food. And I didn't use any of the gels that I had taken along. I enjoyed the ginger ale they had out there. There were grilled cheeses or peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. There was a lot of food. Chips. I usually ate, I think I ate about 1 million grilled cheese, and I ate a bunch of chips just for the salt. The fourth thing that I learned is that I think I might need a sturdier shoe when running on rocks. So I gotta look into that. Those are my major takeaways from the race.